The luxury jet shimmered on the Dallas tarmac under the afternoon sun as Julian Cross adjusted the cuffs of his tailored charcoal suit. Every crease was intentional, a silent testament to the years he spent building an empire no one thought he could touch. With the hum of the engines growing louder, he climbed aboard Horizon Airways Flight 923 bound for Chicago, a journey meant not just for travel, but quiet evaluation. Julian wasn't just a passenger. He was the unseen owner of Horizon, flying incognito to feel the pulse of his creation from the inside. He settled into a first-class seat plush, leather, isolated from the rest of the world, and placed his monogrammed carry-on neatly beside him. The scent of aged bourbon floated through the cabin as the crew prepared for takeoff. Then she appeared. Marla Trent, the flight attendant, was a striking woman in her early 40s with sharp green eyes and a crown of red hair tied back in military precision. Her gaze swept the cabin until it landed on Julian. Her lips curled ever so slightly. "This isn't Coach," she said flatly, loud enough for nearby passengers to glance over their champagne. Julian looked up, calm. "I know." She tilted her head. "May I see your boarding pass?" Without a word, Julian handed it to her. She barely glanced at it before handing it back with a scoff. "Must be a system error. People like you don't usually fly up here." A beat of silence passed as the clink of crystal stopped. The weight of old judgment settled over Julian like a fog. But he gave nothing away, just a nod and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Well," he said, "I guess today's full of surprises." She walked off without another word, heels clicking against the aisle, and Julian exhaled slowly. Not yet. He wasn't going to reveal who he was. Let her dig the hole herself. The jet lifted into the sky minutes later, climbing fast over the Texas plains. Julian leaned back, eyes closing for a moment. Then the plane bucked. A violent shudder shook the cabin, glasses tumbling, and passengers shrieked. Julian's eyes snapped open. That wasn't turbulence. It was too sharp, too mechanical. Marla stumbled into view, face tight with panic and rage. "What did you do?" she spat at Julian, jabbing a finger toward him. "What? You brought this on us. You don't belong here." Passengers murmured. Some nodded. Others just watched. Julian stayed still, voice low. "Sit down before you hurt someone." She turned on a younger attendant. "Caleb, secure him." Caleb hesitated. "Do it," she barked. Minutes later, zip ties dug into Julian's wrists as he sat restrained in a jump seat, eyes burning with fury, mind already working. A loose panel across the aisle caught his attention, a trickle of hydraulic fluid leaking from beneath. Sabotage. He nudged his briefcase open with his foot. A folded note slid out. He unfolded it with his bound hands. "You don't belong at the top." It wasn't just racism. It was a message. The plane dipped again. Caleb was hit by a flying case. Marla barked blame while chaos reigned. A man in a navy blazer stood, flashing a fake badge. "I'm air security," he boomed. "This man's a threat." Julian knew a phony when he saw one. But the passengers were primed. Fear turned to fury. They shoved him into the galley closet, kicking him in the ribs. The door slammed shut. His breathing slowed. The shelf bolt pressed against his side. He worked it loose, used it to cut the zip ties. Then he burst out. The fake officer was still there, Paul Hargrove, a disgraced ex-cop. Julian swung a fire extinguisher into his temple. Hargrove crumpled. Julian grabbed his wallet. No ID, just a racist symbol folded into a photo. "He's not air security," Julian said, lifting the badge. "And this proves it." Marla stammered. "He's lying." Caleb spoke up. "I heard her. She's been ranting since boarding." Passengers turned. The mob cracked. Julian messaged his COO, Lena Brooks. "Looking to Marla Trent now." A response came quick. 2 prior racism complaints. "Buried. I am digging deeper." Then the cockpit announced, "Navigation down. We're flying blind." Julian's instinct screamed. He spotted the wiring panel near the leak. A timer blinked beneath it. Sabotage. He pulled open the panel and got to work. Just as the counter hit 3 seconds, he severed the detonator wire. The red light died. No explosion. But there was more. When the jet landed hard on a remote airstrip, Julian expected safety. Instead, armed men in black swarmed the cabin. Marla pointed. "That's him. Take him out." They dragged him out into the night, threw him to the ground. The hangar door opened. Victor Grayson emerged. Broad, buzz cut, camouflage jacket, and hate written into every scar. "We've been watching you cross," he said. "Too proud. Too rich. Time to fall." Marla stood beside him, grinning. Chainsaws ripped into the jet behind them, shredding the Horizon logo. Julian tried to rise. Grayson knocked him back. Then Lena's voice cracked through his pocket radio. "HQ under attack. They're everywhere. Be ready." A second betrayal. When he staggered to his feet, Grayson swung a knife. Julian dodged, grabbed a pipe, and struck back. Caleb, wounded, but alive, crawled toward him. Julian radioed again. "Send agents. Emergency evac now." It worked. Feds stormed the airstrip. Grayson was tackled. Marla screamed as cuffs clicked around her wrists. Julian collapsed beside Caleb. "We made it," he whispered. But then came the twist. Charles Vance, board member. Clean suit, polished smile, and betrayal in his voice. Minorities don't run airlines. At Horizon HQ, Vance locked the doors. Changed codes. Took control. Julian burst into the boardroom with Lena and loyal staff. Plugged in a USB. Played the audio. "People like you don't fly first." The room fell silent. The board flipped. Vance arrested. Marla too. Victory. But it wasn't over. A black limo rolled up. Harold Cross, Julian's estranged uncle, stepped out. "Family doesn't mean loyalty," he said. "I funded your start, and now I'm ending you." He got in the limo. It sped away. Julian stood in the sunrise, bloodied but breathing. This was bigger than racism. It was legacy, and the next war had just begun.